So we got a ton of comments on the last video on Twitter that blew up, and I figured I'd explain the 3D printed rocket launcher a little better so people understood the components in it. So the chassis that holds everything together is what is 3D printed. The tubes themselves, the main barrel tubes, they're filament wound carbon fiber tubes. They're made in a factory, but they're off the shelf. They're incredibly strong tubes, and they're very similar to the original. The original was fiberglass filament wound. Those worked pretty well on the original and were, not really replaced outside of like maintenance. And then the rocket clip that the rockets are held in, these barrels are actually aluminum. The 3D printed part is just the sleeve to better fit inside the barrel. I couldn't find the exact tube diameter that I really wanted, so I made do with this size of tubing, and I just made up the difference with this 3D printed sleeve. But all the heat will be contained in this aluminum barrel, and this is meant to be disposable. I think I'll probably get maybe 20 to 30 rounds before I would have to really replace these. That's relatively cheap. They're aluminum. I think each tube is maybe like 20, 30 bucks. And the printed parts, I made this removable, the handle, so I can just take this off and reprint these parts. But overall, I don't foresee any major issues with this design. A lot of the exhaust and pressure is going to be coming outside the rear. Unlike a regular firearm where there's a chamber and buildup of pressure, this doesn't really experience it. The front of the launcher has a metal plate on it, so that when it leaves the barrel, the metal should absorb the heat. So I don't think there's any other points of failure outside the rocket blowing up, which we're doing our best to create reliable, safe rockets and using some commercial motors.